So, we're talking this week about copyright basics. What are the basic fundamental principles of intellectual property as it relates to us here in the US? So, we're going to talk about term limits. We're going to talk about the rights that are bestowed to creators, give an idea of what the timeline and the historical context of copyright is in the US. And then we'll move on to things inside the lecture of looking at plagiarism, fair use cases, those types of things. So, here we go. So, to start off this lecture, I want to give us a prompt, a question, so to speak, of thinking about where money in the music business comes from. So, we have all of these different revenue streams. If you're not thinking of it in this way, I think it's time you should. We have money that comes from recordings, money that comes from publishing, money that comes from merchandise, from touring, endorsements. We have appearance deals. We have different types of things where you branch off into acting, into maybe a clothing line, into cosmetics. So there's all of these other sources of revenue that come in. But what is the fundamental reason we have access to these opportunities in the first place? It's a great little workshopping exercise to do in person, but when we're thinking about where the money comes from in our business, it's very easy to understand that it comes from intellectual property. If we didn't have the ability to create pieces of intellectual property to therefore exploit to an audience, no one would care about us to buy our songs, to buy our merchandise, to buy the lipstick that Rihanna has put together. Why? Because we wouldn't actually have a product that gave anyone interest in our brand to therefore make them want to buy our product in the first place. So in our industry, the only thing we focus on is copyright. There's patents and trademarks as well, but for this specific purpose, we're talking about copyright and how it relates to us as an industry. There are a few different ways that we would look at copyright, a few different types of copyrights that we'll be looking at throughout this course. The first one is publishing that comes from the song. The next one is the master, which is typically owned by the record label. And then we have the performance of both the song and the master. We'll get into this all in a little bit, but I want to talk about first the timeline of the major events that happened that have us arrive at what our intellectual property, more specifically what our copyright law looks like. So let's take a look at that timeline now. So from the very beginning of how intellectual property law came to the States is actually an ironic kind of sequence of events. We actually adopted the Statute of Anne from the UK in 1710. So yeah, we basically stole our first copyright law here in the US, which is hardy har har. Infringement. It's a copyright joke, okay? Let's just move on. So 1710 was the Statute of Anne. And then for the next 200 years, our copyright laws were virtually unchanged. We have the 1909 Copyright Act, which started to give us just very rough ideas of what the modern copyright laws were going to look at. So from that, we had basic mechanical laws, basic performance laws. But it was really just a law and a copyright act that adopted to the time in which we were dealing with. So at that point, we had barely seen gramophones or record players. Radio was the predominant way that we would consume music outside of going to shows in a very physical sense, actually going to the theater and seeing movies and vaudeville or variety shows. So it was kind of limited in the way in which we would interface with it because the technology and the exploitations of music were limited as well. Next, we move up almost 70 years to the 1976 Copyright Act, which took place in 1978. That's right, we created this revision of the Copyright Act in 1976, and because it was so massive, it took 2 years to implement. So the 1976 Copyright Act, again, took place in 1978. And from there, we see probably the most modern version of what our copyright law looks like today. There have been several revisions over the last couple of years, but in 1976, we got the basic fundamental principles of how our copyright law acts and behaves here in the US. We got the bundle of rights. We have the way in which we interface in terms of mechanical licensing. We have all of our escalations and way that we review those things from the Copyright Board. We have a bunch of different things that we'll go over in this particular lecture. But the big kind of hairy gorilla that's in the middle of the room is the 1976 Copyright Act, and everything else kind of splinters off from that standpoint. The next thing I want to mention is the 1995 Digital Performing Rights in Sound Recording Act. So in 1995, near 20 years later after the 1976 Copyright Act, we're starting to see iterations of the internet thanks to Al Gore, of course. And because of that, we're having to readjust the way in which we interact with our music. So specifically, this was related to how music was going to be used on websites. So when your super tech savvy great uncle decided to put his website up of the cats that were in his neighborhood, the music that he put back behind that website would have to be cleared, and that music had a sound recording right. And so somehow we needed to have there be permission and payment for the fact that there was cat music websites that your great uncle put together. Next thing, shortly after, we had the Digital Millennium Copyright Act in 1998. Now, the combination of the 95 and the 98 Copyright Act gave us how we interface with music in the internet era. And subsequently, those two provisions are what we're able to kind of give the record label some credence and some steam to go ahead and sue and take back some of the rights that were being exploited in piracy in the late 90s and early 2000s. The 98 Copyright Act gave us things on how we would license mechanical rights for songs in digital exploitations on the internet. And it also gave us the ability from a fines and a permission standpoint to be able to say, hey, this copyright infringement that's happening on the internet is not okay. And we were able to pursue these things in a very real way. The next thing I want to talk about is the 2013 Copyright Board proposal. Now, this is really something that inevitably became the 2018 Music and Modernization Act, but it was a way in which the record labels and publishers can kind of put a bill in front of Congress, in front of the Copyright Board to say, we would like to change the copyright laws to better suit the way that the industry is performing now. Move things from a penny rate mechanical to a percentage mechanical, how things are distributed and who we pay, and therefore who pays publishers and songwriters. So you can start to see iterations of what the 2018 Music and Modernization Act looked like because we had this proposal in 2013. Now that I've been talking about it for quite a long time, let's talk about the 2018 Music and Modernization Act, or the MMA, in which Kanye stood over President Trump in signing. Why? I'm not really clear, but it happened. The big things that happened in the Music and Modernization Act was an increase to non-interactive streaming rates, and also the creation of what we now call the Mechanical Licensing Collective, or MLC. We'll get into why this is important, but basically this becomes a bow tie in which all record labels or copyright licensees are going to pay into this one body, the Mechanical Licensing Collective. The MLC then turns around and pays songwriters and publishers. And this is very similar to how the rest of the world handles mechanicals and performance payments, and what we were previously not doing, where the record labels were responsible for paying the publishers directly. So there's our timeline in terms of how we've gotten to the place that we are right now and how we're interfacing from a time perspective with the different copyright acts that are happening. That's Dexter the dog, and he just got back from a walk. See you in the next video.